Back with the Dave Elswick Show, final segment of our debate with the Republican candidates for AG. Hope that you enjoyed their answers to the questions that we could get to. We did a total of 5 questions with them. It's time now to go to closing statements, though, because we're coming up on the top of the hour. With that, they've drawn numbers again, and it will be Leslie first, Patricia second, David third. So with 2 minutes each, let's start off with Leslie, your closing statement.
Thank you, Dave, and thank you again for hosting this debate today. For your listeners, they can learn more information about me at my website. It's simply my name, LeslieRutledge.com. Dave, this race comes down to experience. And I am the only person on the Republican side that has been a prosecutor, being able to use that experience, handling all the criminal appeals at the Attorney General's office. I have been counsel to Governor Mike Huckabee. I've sat at the table when the governor asked my advice on the best interest of the people. And I have sat at the table when the national chairman of the Republican Party asked my advice on how to fight Barack Obama and Nancy Pelosi. And I want to use all of that experience, Dave, because it's the right experience to fight this federal government and to fight this federal overreach. You know, I tell people, you're not going to hire your podiatrist to perform open heart surgery. Well, lawyers are no different. And so while I may not have a Martindale-Hubbell rating because I've never paid for it and I'm never going to pay to have other lawyers give me a rating, I'm still a good lawyer, and that's why trusted leaders trust me to give advice and to look out for the best interest of Arkansans and for the best interest of Americans, always looking out for the state's most vulnerable, always looking out for ways that we can continue fighting Barack Obama and federal overreaching government, upholding the Constitution that we all hold so dear. You know, I'm a big believer in the Second Amendment, the 10th Amendment. Every one of those amendments are important to us. And while we only talk about a few, there's some that the Attorney General can use in his or her cap, and I want to use my experience to ensure that the 10th Amendment is as strong today as it ever has been. And so, again, it's LeslieRutledge.com. I have the experience to be in the office on day one and being the Attorney General that Arkansas needs. Thanks again, Dave, for having me.
All right, let's move over to Patricia Nation. And Patricia, 2 minutes.
Dave, thank you so much for inviting us to share with Arkansas. What I have done is share my heart with Arkansas. I'm a constitutional conservative lawyer, and I was born and raised in Arkansas, and I've spent my life in Arkansas. And over the past 20 years, I've been right here in Arkansas working for the citizens of Arkansas as a defender of the Constitution. And right now, I do believe that the Constitution is under attack. And if the Constitution is under attack, the best person that you can elect to push back against an overreaching federal government is a constitutional conservative lawyer. And my opponent basically said she was the only prosecutor in this race. It's not true. I started my legal career out right here in Pulaski County as a prosecutor, so I know how it works on both sides of the fence, because right now, today, I'm also a criminal defense lawyer, and I understand the criminal appeals process in the Attorney General's office because I've worked as a criminal defense and prosecutor in the courts in Arkansas. I've also worked on the trial and appellate level in the appellate courts in Arkansas. And I'm the only one in this race who's been on practicing law throughout the nation as an appellate advocate. And that's where the federal Constitution is mostly vulnerable, and you have to have those skills to be able to push back. And I would like to use those skills under the 10th Amendment to limit the role of government. I like my doctor. I want to keep my doctor. I don't want my government going after my fellow Americans, no matter what their political views are or associations are. I want to send my child to a school of my choice. And if the school is failing, I want to be able to pull my child out. And these are the things that I know are of great interest to Arkansas. And I am the only one in this race with the qualifications to start day one pushing back from an overreaching federal government.
Okay. And David, you'll have the final 2 minutes.
Thanks again, Dave. My website is www.sterling4ag.com, and listeners can find out more about my background, experience, and qualifications for this job there. But I think it does come down to experience, and I think it is the right kind of experience. I've been practicing business and commercial litigation in this state now, in every state and federal court in the state of Arkansas for the last 15 years. I do have an AV Martindale-Hubbell rating. It's not something that you can pay for. I worked my entire career to achieve that, and lawyers and judges across this state have rated me the highest rating you can have under the Martindale-Hubbell rating system, AV rating for my preeminent legal skills and ethical standards. I've been endorsed by Michelle and Jim Bob Duggar. I've been endorsed by 16 current state legislators. That we released that in a press release today. I've been endorsed by the Garland County Tea Party. I've been endorsed by the Independence County Tea Party. I'm the only candidate with a concrete plan to address this federal overreach that everyone keeps talking about. I have proposed creating a federalism task force staffed with very conservative, aggressive attorneys that will identify federal laws that violate the 10th Amendment and then seek to file a lawsuit to push back against this overreaching federal government. I'm the only candidate that has proposed a cure for the death penalty problem here in the state using pentobarbital and exempting the domestic manufacturers of that from the FOI law. I think that'll get the death penalty back on track and get some of these criminals off death row and give these families of the victims some closure in their life. I'm the only candidate that supports the Stand Your Ground law and will propose that as part of my initial legislative package. I'm also the only candidate that has been consistent on Act 746, and my interpretation of that is creating open carry and constitutional carry in the state of Arkansas. And I'm the only candidate in this race that has participated in these open carry walks throughout our state. Again, sterling4ag.com, and I appreciate your time here today.
All right. We are down to just about a minute. So with that, let me start. David, again, give your website where people can go to.
Sure. It's www.sterling4ag.com. Sterling, the number 4, ag.com. Thank you, David.
Okay. Patricia?
It's www.patricianation, the number 4, ag.com. That's patricianation, number 4, ag.com.
And Leslie?
LeslieRutledge.com. That's LeslieRutledge.com. Or if they want to call me, they can ring me up 501-227-0917. Thanks, Dave.
I want to thank each of you for coming in. Takes a lot to sit down and take the questions cold like this. So there you have it. You can that should help you make your decision. And we'll be back with the ambassador from Israel coming up on the Dave Elswick Show.
This is the voice of Arkansas. News Radio 102.9 FM.